calls Malaysia home? Malaysia is one of only 12 countries in the world endowed with mega biodiversity. But our home is no longer safe. Our home is being destroyed. Pollutants are seeping into our air and water. Some inhabitants are gone, never to return. Why is this happening? Are we fulfilling our basic need? Or catering to our own convenience? Have we gone too far in pursuing a strong economy? Who calls Malaysia home? Malaysia is one of only 12 countries in the world endowed with mega biodiversity. But our home is no longer safe. Our home is being destroyed. Pollutants are seeping into our air and water.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Ashraf Aiman bin Muhammad. My metric number is 2024-869-406. I will talk about Introduction National Climate Change Policy 2.0. Malaysia is facing the real effect of climate change. To respond to National Climate Change Policy 2.0, set a clear path towards a low-carbon, climate-resilient future. With a stronger law, better data system and community involvement, Malaysia aims to cut emission by 45% by 2030 and reach net zero by 2050. Most importantly, NCCP 2.0 calls on everyone, government, business and citizens to take action together.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Azra Hanis binti Azhari and my metric number is 2024-211426, and today I will be presenting on policy problems in addressing climate change in Malaysia. Malaysia, like many countries, is facing urgent environmental challenges due to climate change. In this presentation, I will cover three major climate-related to policy issues. The first one is the increase in greenhouse gas emission. Second, the economic impact of climate-related disaster and our commitment and effort under international climate agreements. Let's begin with the greenhouse gas emission. One of the biggest sources of emission in Malaysia is the energy sector, which relies heavily on fossil fuel like coal and natural gas. In fact, the energy sector accounts for more than 75% of total emission. Coal-fired power plants in the places like Manjung Perak and Port Dickson are key contributors. While Malaysia has introduced some renewable alternatives, the pace of transition is still too slow to meet our climate goals. Another major issue is deforestation. Between 2001 and 2019, Malaysia lost over 2 million hectares of primary forest, especially in Sabah, Sarawak, mostly for palm oil and timber industry. This is not only release carbon but also reduce our capacity to absorb future emissions. Next, let's look at how climate-related disasters are affecting our economy. Events like flood, drought, and landslide have become more severe and frequent. A striking example is the December 2021 floods, which displaced more than 70,000 people and causes over 6.1 billion in damage. Public infrastructure like roads, schools, and hospitals were severely affected. We are also seeing drought in northern Malaysia affecting paddy farming in Kedah and Perlis. Beyond physical damage, this disaster reduced productivity, disrupt business, and increase poverty, especially vulnerable communities. The last one is a Malaysia global commitment. As a signatory to the Paris Agreement, Malaysia has a pledge to reduce its emission by 45% per GDP unit by 2030 compared to 2005 levels. We are also aiming for net zero emission by 2050. There are several national policies support this. The first one is the Low Carbon Cities Framework promotes sustainable urban development. The second one is the National Energy Transition Roadmap, which is NETR, launched in 2023, focused on increasing renewable energy sources like solar, hydro, and bioenergy. However, the progress is slow. Challenges include limited financing, weak environments, and our ongoing dependence on carbon-intensive industries such as oil and gas.
4 policy objectives. The first one is achieve net zero emission by 2050. Malaysia aims to reach net zero greenhouse gas emission through clean energy, low carbon development and green technology, aligning with its international climate commitments. The second one is mainstream climate action into all sectors. Climate consideration will be integrated into national, state and local planning, ensuring that policies, governance and development decisions support sustainability across the board. And the third one is strengthen sectoral response to climate change. The policy promote effective climate action into all sectors using science-based, risk-informed approach. This include investing in green infrastructure, data system and disaster preparedness. And the last one is adopt risk-based climate resilient planning. Planning will be guided by the climate data and vulnerability assessment to reduce risk, support innovation and build resilience in communities, agriculture and infrastructure.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Norhana binti Jamaluddin. My medic number is 2024211858. So today I would like to present about strategies. There are 3 of strategies. Firstly is establish an effective institutional framework to enhance management of climate action. Secondly, reduce greenhouse, which is gas emission. And lastly, enhance community awareness. For your information, one of the most important steps in fighting climate change is building strong local climate governance. This means that giving more responsibility to local government because they understand their community best. For example, the Shah Alam City Council, also known as MBSA, created as a special unit called the Environment and Sustainability Unit. This unit leads climate change projects in the city such as the Shah Alam Low Carbon City Action Plan 2030. They make sure the city follow green policy to track progress and work with other organizations. This kind of clear structure help local leaders take a real action, not just promises. In order for an institutional structure to be effective, local community must be actively participate in tackling climate change challenges. Through environmental education initiative, community workshop and awareness campaign, local government are essential in educating and motivating communities. So, we will move to the second strategy, reducing greenhouse gas emission. Greenhouse gases GHG contribute to global warming while having a significant influence on climate change. In order to tackle this issue, Malaysian government has implemented several strategic measures to minimize greenhouse gas emission. One of the main initiatives is the successful implementation of the Low Carbon Energy Transition Policy, also known as the Low Carbon Energy Transition Roadmap, which is LTED. For example, Malaysia has already started this with the Low Carbon Energy Transition Roadmap. It is supported by groups like the Energy Commission and DNB. This plan helped the country move from fossil fuels to renewable energy like solar, hydro and biomass. At the same time, Malaysia is encouraging the use of electric vehicle and public transport such as train and buses to reduce traffic and air pollution. For example, replacing fuel car with the electric ones not only lowers emission but also make the air cleaner and city healthier. Lastly, enhance community awareness. Climate action is not just the government's job. Community and individuals play a big role too. Under Malaysia National Climate Change Policy 2.0, there's a strong focus on climate education and outreach. For instance, school now teach students about climate change and awareness campaign use a video and infographic to show how daily habits like saving electricity or using less plastic, which is a good strategy. Community also taking action by planting trees and setting up rainwater and harvesting system. These small actions, when done together, create a big impact. When people understand the problem and feel involved, they are more likely to take action and support green policies. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Nur Sabrina Shaira binti Muhammad Sahuri. My matrix number is 2024669132. As for the strength, the first strength is the commitment to achieving the net zero greenhouse emission GHG. NCCP 2.0 is largely based on Malaysia's pledge on achieving the net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2050. So one of the key pillar strategy is the long-term low emissions development strategy (LTLEDS) that emphasizing the extensive decarbonization strategies and the carbon dioxide removals, both nature and technology based. For example, TNB Bukit Selambau Solar 2 Sdn Bhd has secured the finance up to 185 million for the large-scale solar project LSS. The TNB President and their Chief Executive said that this LSS project is a step forward towards achieving a sustainability path and will also open up the new opportunities for the energy transition for the TNB business growth and the long-term sustainability. The second strength is the support for vulnerable communities, which is this means government is to make sure that no one is left behind, especially those who are affected by the climate change like flood victims or people living in the poor area. According to the NCCP 2.0, Malaysia has taken early actions to protect these communities by using an inclusive and fair approach. For example, the National Disaster Management Agency (NADMA) plays an important role in helping people during floods, especially places like Sabah and Sarawak. So they work together with the state government to help distribute aid and give the support to those who are affected. So, this strong cooperation between the federal state and the state agencies will ensure that the help will reach the people who need it the most. Hi, my name is Nur Sabrina Shaira binti Muhammad Sahuri. My matrix number is 2024669132. As for the strength, the first strength is the commitment to achieving the net zero greenhouse emission GHG. NCCP 2.0 is largely based on Malaysia's pledge on achieving the net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2050. So one of the key pillar strategy is the long-term low emissions development strategy (LTLEDS) that emphasizing the extensive decarbonization strategies and the carbon dioxide removals, both nature and technology based. For example, TNB Bukit Selambau Solar 2 Sdn Bhd has secured the finance up to 185 million for the large-scale solar project LSS. The TNB President and their Chief Executive said that this LSS project is a step forward towards achieving a sustainability path and will also open up the new opportunities for the energy transition for the TNB business growth and the long-term sustainability. The second strength is the support for vulnerable communities, which is this means government is to make sure that no one is left behind, especially those who are affected by the climate change like flood victims or people living in the poor area. According to the NCCP 2.0, Malaysia has taken early actions to protect these communities by using an inclusive and fair approach. For example, the National Disaster Management Agency (NADMA) plays an important role in helping people during floods, especially places like Sabah and Sarawak. So they work together with the state government to help distribute aid and give the support to those who are affected. So, this strong cooperation between the federal state and the state agencies will ensure that the help will reach the people who need it the most.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Qurratu Aini Syamimi binti Muhammad Tamizi. My matric number is 2024287138. Today, I would like to highlight two key recommendations to strengthen the implementation of Malaysia National Climate Change Policy 2.0, which is NCCP 2.0. First, implementing more urban greening projects. Urban greening is more than just planting trees. It's about creating healthier, cooler and more resilient city. With rising temperature and extreme weather events, Malaysia is at risk of losing biodiversity and suffering from land degradation, especially during long droughts that lead to forest fires. One powerful example we can learn from is Singapore Garden by the Bay, a world-class project that showcases how green infrastructure can improve air quality, reduce heat stress, and promote public well-being. To achieve this, our government must increase financial support for both public and private sector to create green space, such as urban forests, community parks, and vertical gardens. This project will act as natural air filters, enhance biodiversity, and ultimately support our goal of net zero emission by 2050. Second, increasing low-carbon public transport. Our city today are facing severe traffic congestion and air pollution due to over-dependence on private vehicles. One of the best ways to address is by improving sustainable public transport. A good example is Putrajaya, which plans to introduce electric buses by 2025, as well as Shah Alam has already implemented car-free zone and the 4 smart Selangor electric buses service to promote cleaner mobility. Expanding LRT and MRT lines to suburban and rural areas, providing EV charging station, and encourage cycling and walking through car-free day programs in each state. All of these will help reduce greenhouse gas emission, improve health, and increase the quality of life. Thank you. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
For the conclusion, the National Climate Change Policy 2.0 is a crucial step in Malaysia's journey toward a sustainable and climate-resilient future. Its aim for net zero emission by 2050, addressing greenhouse gas reduction, disaster resilience, and global collaboration. Achieving these goals require collective effort from government, business communities, and individuals. With consistent commitment and innovation, Malaysia can build a low-carbon, climate-resilient nation ready to face the challenge of a changing world. That's all from us. Thank you.